You're listening to Soul Patrol Internet Radio. Soul Patrol Internet Radio. Welcome.
Welcome. This is Bob Davis. This is Bob Davis, and hopefully y'all can hear me because we're sitting kind of like off to the side here at the Roosevelt Hotel. We're at the Rhythm and Blues Foundation Pioneer Awards, and I want all of you fellas out there to eat your hearts out because I am sitting right in between two of the emotions. Now, what more could any of y'all want? And none of y'all will ever get.
Oh my goodness.
I want the two of you to introduce yourselves to our audience on soulpatrol.net radio.
My name is Wanda, and I'm one of the emotions. I sing the fast songs.
My name is Sheila. Don't ask my neighbor.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Let me just cut right to the chase because I know what people want to know. Who sang lead on Show Me How?
Sheila, the balladeer.
All right. Okay. See now, I just have to tell you. You know, I was in the 9th grade when that song came out, and I was. Let me see. I was. How old was I? 13.
Yeah.
12, something like that.
Something with raging hormones.
And see, y'all have no idea, or maybe you do have some idea of what those voices did to my heart at that time to hear Show Me How. So tell me, how did that song come about?
Well, actually, we were in the studio with Isaac Hayes.
Ah, okay.
And we'd just gotten a deal with STAX Records, and he was actually saying, you know, y'all listen to these chords, and what does it make you think of? And, well, this is what I had in mind. And he started talking it up, and my father said, wait a minute, what about those lyrics? Because I was just in my early teens too, you know? And I'm just a young girl dying to learn the ways of love. Ike said, "Nah, Joe, just let him sing the song. Now it doesn't apply to them. It doesn't apply to my daughters or ladies. I know that, but just sing the song. There's a lot of young ones that will be able to relate to this. Dying to learn the ways of love. I wasn't dying to learn the ways of love. I just wanted to sing.
See, but I was.
Trying to have self-control, okay? And so as we did it, let me see. I just want to please you. Show me. And actually, right now, I'm mixing the words up.
Can you say that again?
Because actually...
No, I want to please you.
He wants you to sing a few lyrics.
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
But you know what you got to do? Just real soft, just right my
There are so many things that I just don't know. Oh. That's all I can do.
All right. That was fantastic. Keep going. I'm sorry for interrupting. I was just one of my fantasies just came true.
But you know something? Working with Isaac Hayes helped us to appreciate
And David Porter.
that when you're in the studio like that, a number of things that you may have experienced already in life can be put in a tune, and everyone will be able to relate to it.
Right.
You know, we still do that tune today in the Emotion Show. Hopefully we'll be able to share that with you soon. And now I've added a slight portion to that, speaking of, but now I'm a woman, and I've learned what it takes. Okay?
Yeah.
For true love, we must be together forever.
And they'll probably see us do it when we're on the tour with OJs and Dramatics starting March.
That's come up in March of 2002.
That is something that we are really looking forward to. One of the things that I noticed, even with a lot of the younger artists in their early 20s that have now tried to take on the role of the balladeers and so forth, for some reason they're having a hard time with phraseology and deliverance. The songs, the words are there, the music's there, but somehow or other it's just not that. Like, you all had this real sweet, sexy, innocent, nice, everything all put together. But it was total, it was complete, it was never forced or contrived. It seemed like a natural flow. I don't know whether it was from the gospel training where you had, more projection, or there's just something that just didn't quite carry through to a lot of the younger artists now.
Well, I think a lot of that is because the way the young people record today, they don't record with spontaneous. When they're recording their songs, when we used to record, you didn't know if we were going to sing it. We never sang it the same way twice. But, everything with the samples, so people are writing melodies to samples. All these wonderful singers, Aaliyah, Destiny Child, and both, all of them, but they're writing melodies to samples. And that's to a machine.
So their
and when
music
you
is
write,
more cans now.
Yeah.
Right, when it's from the heart and not
it's from the heart.
digit.
A sample can't do it 56 times in a row and 56 measures the same way.
Okay.
When it's from the heart, you got number 22 and number 23 ain't gonna be the same.
Let me ask you this. Now y'all were on STAX Records. Everybody knows that. So a lot of people, especially a lot of younger people, their impression of what STAX Records was is formed mainly from things like seeing the Blues Brothers on TV.
Oh yeah.
So can you describe for the audience kind of like is that the way it was at Stax Records, or was it different, or what was your experience like just being there at that time in that place in that space? What kind of thing was it like to be at Stax in Memphis in 1969 and 1968, 1970? What was that like? What was that energy all about?
I remember Memphis Soul being one of their logos that they had on a project that we all did together. And the Stax family were always about bringing their music and lyrics from the heart, keeping them clean, and always being about a feel that could relate to every age. All demographics would be pulled in, and it would be clean, something you could even let your grandmother listen to. And you'd be patting your foot even though you're carrying on a conversation across the way, because that is what real heartfelt soul is about.
Yeah.
And especially don't put no real life experiences in there anywhere, okay?
See, the music today, the soul is gone. The computer is there. The digital is there. Analog, but that's like the soul. And it makes the warmth, the way we used to cut, like we were saying earlier, with Johnny Pate in there with the strings and horns, Maurice in there putting down the backgrounds with us, while Burdine was playing. We played with the musicians. We didn't play with the machine.
Right.
We played with the musicians. So their soul with our soul, but we go from soul to hardcore machine. That's another kind of thing.
So what was it like
Even
to go?
with Isaac, he would be playing there. He said, "Now just bring on mic and set us up right out."
Right, and then they would be
Right around
going on
the
the music,
musicians.
for the string. That he'll
barcade.
come in there and just hum the string parts, and the strings would go and do it just
He
from
was
him,
playing behind
him
us.
humming.
Really?
But the Booker
barcade.
T and MGs,
Right,
remember?
Booker T and the MGs, the
Duck
barcade.
Don on the bass.
Okay, you guys have sung with musical
These were the
guests.
engineers. These were the entrepreneurs, the founders
Okay,
of
William
what Funk
Bell
and
in
Soul
there.
is.
And you don't forget different ones that come in every now and then. All right, I heard that. That make me want to. They want to put their little piece in.
Yeah. It's hard for a machine to inspire you.
Exactly.
Were y'all on Watch Stax?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did Blessed. I mean, Blessed.
We did a church scene. We did a club
What's
scene.
that? Tempest is Raging.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
In our church scene.
I'm going to have to go home and watch that. I got it on tape.
They edited a number of times, but I'm told they've been playing on cable. So
Oh,
they
quite a
may
bit.
have the whole.
It's been on cable
Okay.
and on the internet. It's a hot property for bootleggers.
Really?
Oh
They-
yeah, 'cause we in Japan, honey, they were selling it, and I'm like, whoa, I wonder who's getting
Well, I
this.
still have the album.
Yeah, I remember it was a big
Okay.
deal. They call that Black Woodstock at the time.
Mhm.
Remember
Exactly.
that? Remember that?
Yep.
So now tell me, what was it? How did you end up making the move to go from Stax to being with Earth, Wind and Fire? How did all of that happen?
Well, unfortunately, in '73, there was a Stax dilemma. Of course, all the red tape. I have no idea what all was going on with Al Bell,
Al
Jim
Bell.
Stewart,
Mhm.
and some of the ones running it. So actually, our last project with them, I believe, was "Take Me Back," a couple of singles. And then they said, well, for a while we're going to have to close down and take care of a few things. And during that dilemma, actually, we didn't want to go into limbo. There were a number of
Daddy
ones.
sought out Ron Ellison. He said, man, what are y'all doing? Ron Ellison was a friend of Maurice's and Charles Kelly. He said, well, let me tell you, Maurice is starting this label. He's got Denise Williams, Ramsey Lewis, somebody else.
So this is the whole Chicago connection,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so our father, Joseph Hutchinson, he said, well, let's see what's the spot. So we all met over at Charles's house. I remember we were upstairs and he was down there playing. We like, that's
The late,
Charles?
great
And all he
Charles
was playing
Stepney.
was Beethoven. And I said, that's Charles Stephanie? I said, that stuff we've been here, but he plays it. She said he plays
Heavy.
that 4 hours every morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Mm.
He plays Bach and all
And then he wrote
I'm
many
like,
symphonies.
so this song, when we went down there and showed him the song, he said, "Do y'all write?" Yeah. So I was playing piano at the time, and I was writing "I Don't Want You to Love Me." Showed him "How Can You Stop Loving Someone," "No Plans for Tomorrow," 4 or 5 songs we had written. And and so I was playing "How Can You Stop Loving Someone." He said, "Do you know what was it called? Beethoven's Ninth Broadway?"
Right.
Come on, Charles. He said, "Listen to this." And he know he's never heard that song. He played it. He says, "That's the same sonata. You see the beginning of your song?" I said, "Well, I don't know nothing about Beethoven's Ninth, but how can you stop loving?"
And the chords.
He said it's the exact same as some symphony that he was telling me about. I said, "Well, I didn't know that." He said, "Well, why not? You should be producing." But he was the one that first ever got me, to even think that I
And now
could
she's a
produce.
producer.
But the songs that are coming out on our website, we produce them.
Okay.
And Maurice would always,
Try to
encourage us
encourage,
to produce
yeah.
and stuff. And now we're in the studio with him again. So,
With who? Maurice?
with Maurice, 2 days
White?
before we came here, we were just finishing up.
Oh, fantastic.
Doing the song, "Why It'll Be Out of the Top of the Year." He's got a new record company, Magnet Vision.
Wonderful.
Magnet Vision,
A wonderful artist, Greg, that we've written me and my husband songs for. Kenny from Philadelphia.
Okay.
And we've all sang on it, but the one we did with Maurice, all about and this one, Why. It's amazing. Me, Sheila, and Pamela. So it's a rejuvenation of that sound. I think it's coming back.
So how's Maurice doing? We get a lot of questions about Earth, Wind & Fire, specifically about the health of Maurice White.
Well, you'll know because
people are
he's
very
singing
concerned.
again.
Okay.
Yeah,
He'll be out
He'll
there.
do something
You'll
hard,
see him.
I guess.
Then that answers that question.
Yeah, it's a miraculous thing that has happened that I'm sure he'll want to tell you about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So now, we're in New York City, and this is my hometown. And, I keep coming back to, show me how. But
What
I
happened
won't
to
go.
Part of Later? That was on the flip side.
No,
Not the same thing.
it's not the same thing.
Okay.
Because they would show me how it would come on, and then Brenda the tabulation with the blue light basement parties and stuff. That's what I'm talking about.
Red
That's my. And then if the parents went upstairs, then it became no lights.
No lights.
That's when Dad would tell us, "Look, y'all gotta go." And we'd be okay.
Okay, so
But it paid off.
everybody knows that you hooked up with Earth, Wind & Fire. You had the big hits with
Flowers.
and you had the album Rejoice and all of that stuff. And so then what happened after that? Because then you kind of like
Rejoice
Yeah.
and Smile.
Mhm.
The album came out and the something now.
mhm.
After they were going through some changes with CBS, Maurice was, I think, breaking away from the parent company and doing his own
Getting a
thing, and they
record
weren't giving him
company
any
himself.
support anymore. And so all of his artists kind of, if they didn't survive through their own whatever, it was a shaky time, and the industry was going through fixing to go through that disco period,
Mhm.
which I didn't see ourselves in at all. But Boogie Wonderland snuck in there right at the beginning of it.
Right. But he was
Which,
developing Arc Records,
He was,
his
yes,
own
his
record
own record
company.
label. And so, a lot of priorities went to that, I
Mhm.
think. And then, we kind of got disenchanted, my father, with things the way they were happening.
A
And
number of things we had to
seeking
check
out other
into.
things to do. So we did. We went to Motown when they split with, well, not Motown. Yeah, it was Motown, right before they went to
Yeah, we
VA.
did a project with
Right,
him.
85.
85, 86. Okay.
Because Boogie Wonderland was 80.
Mm-hmm.
And after that,
It didn't
we
really
all,
fly.
yeah. By that time, we were into like 3 and 4 children. I have 5 now. So we just said, let's be mothers a while and sit back and just do the soundtracks and the commercials.
Yeah.
Sheila did an awful lot of commercials.
Do some writing.
So what
Develop her producing.
commercials that people might remember?
Soft Sheen, Afro Sheen commercials, Miss Cool,
7
hair products.
what we did with Steve Washington
Mm-hmm.
and
7-Up, yeah.
Baby Kids, the soundtrack to that.
A song, I Want to Thank You.
And Patti LaBelle, we did when Skip Scarborough was doing her. We started writing together and producing her. Aretha Franklin, we had a couple of songs.
Let's go back to the Chicago thing for a minute, because something just came into my head. Did y'all ever work with Minnie Riperton?
I hate that she was sick around the
She had
time
just
when they were
passed,
talking about us
Because
coming
Charles
together.
produced her. Charles
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what made me think
And
of
I
Minnie
loved her
Riperton.
talent.
And one night we were rehearsing over there, he said, "Oh, I got to go over to at the Chicago Symphony with Minnie." I'm like, Chicago Symphony with Minnie? You know,
that had
and
been
that's
talked
how
up for
tough
being
she
sick.
was. You
That's
know.
right. Think about it.
So I was
Yeah.
like, whoa. So you was having all of that on the radio, you know, and that's why I mean, that's another thing. It gave kids how would you say, a real look at what music was, because you had the real musicians play.
Yeah.
And now, not that they aren't, even though they're using the digital, and I know some of the cats, young cats who are doing this thing, but there is something missing, and it's
That
showing up in our
heartfelt feeling
teenagers.
is missing.
There's that compassion that's missing. There's only passion, no compassion, and
Oh, that's
you
good.
know you can't
I
have
like
that.
that. Mhm.
So
That
you get
goes
weird,
nowhere.
you know, and that's how our
And
children
of
are
course
now.
the lyrics kind of sunk a little bit.
Just just a little bit.
I know. Anymore, it's like, no, they didn't say that, you know. And I'm at home. I take care of mom.
Mhm.
They're in our home, Chicago. And there's a number of things I wouldn't want. Anytime you can't let your mother, your grandmother listen to it, you know something's not right. So it made, of course, that made the girls and I want to keep writing. And of course, with our young ones coming up, becoming the same young teenagers and stuff that were listening and buying this stuff, they weren't into it. They were
Yeah.
meeting people like yourself and others that remembered the lyrical, content of our songs. And they was like, why can't y'all come and start
And
back to
Dad said
writing?
you'll always work if you can sing something that everybody can come listen
And it's
to.
so
Can
true.
relate to.
My daughter will be here tomorrow, and she's 15. And she had heard when the two women from the Martin's TV show, Tina Arnold and
Yes.
Oh, I know her.
Tanika.
Campbell.
Yeah,
Tisha Campbell.
Tisha Campbell. When they did Don't Ask My Neighbor.
Right.
So I dug and dug and finally found the 45.
Right.
And I played it for them. And my daughter was like, oh, but Mama, this came out. And I was like, yes. I said, and this is what happened. When they wanted something to fit that movie, there wasn't anybody out to write anything like that. So they had to remake
Yes.
this song because this was the mood for this
Have so many
this movie. And
everything that we did.
Yeah.
A whole few songs, STAX, and
Oh,
a few
because
of
it was
our
in the
other
movie.
things.
it was in the
Hold
movie.
on to him. Hold on to him.
Now
That
that's
Dad
how,
had
that's
kinda
how she was
snatched
introduced to
away.
it. But then she got very excited. She is now, and Bob will tell you, she doesn't want to admit, but she was excited. She goes to Billy Paul's show, and
Oh, wow.
so now she knows a lot of the artists. Her birthday was in June, and we went to a show. It was in Manhattan, Ray Goodman and Brown, and Adele. Well, each one of them sang happy birthday to her, and Marvin Jr. just made a big deal over her. So at that time, she was blowing, and she said, Mommy, she said, look how they kind of dance around the band moves in, they come out. I said, yeah, the band is an integral part of the performance.
Yes.
And she's really appreciating it too. And like you said, with the music that's computerized, okay, it sounds good, but it's something. What kind of music? Something
Right.
is missing.
Right.
Yes.
Something is missing because in a live performance, you'll always get that guitar player that just goes off.
Yeah.
And they just kind of step back and let him do his thing. And so when you go and you see on the stage and you see this just poor Blue Cantrell or poor Maxwell, they're just out there. It's like, okay. There's this orchestra down in the pit, but there's nobody up on the stage.
Everything's
They're not related.
Yeah, where's that bass player?
There's no
Exactly.
warmth. There's no heart. There's no soul. There's no
Or you got
feeling.
people hollering at you all during the concert to do something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I hate those kind of concerts. When Sly and them told you to get up, all you had to do was say it one time.
Right.
But you get these guys, everybody's hollering at you, 20 guys walking around holding their genitals, hollering, saying, putting your hands, it's just,
It's another whole
that's
thing.
a whole nother
Or,
Yeah.
more to the point, when a song like So I Can Love You would come on. You could tell from that very first set of notes, and people would rush out there on the dance floor and look around and say, who can I grab? Because
and you don't have to say, get on the dance
that
floor.
music made you want
Everybody
to
knows.
grab
Yeah,
somebody.
You were inspired.
Well, the other thing is too, I don't know if you found with your daughter, but they don't slow down.
No,
they don't slow
they
down.
have another whole.
Last year with my daughter with the ninth grade prom, she had to supply. They went through my music. That's
That's right.
Help us.
Yeah.
Right. So we got the music together.
Okay.
But then I had to teach them how to dance.
Okay.
They
They didn't know
Right.
what
Slow
to do
dancers
with
when they
it.
would go out and
Right.
talk. Now,
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right. And they're enjoying it. through Soul Patrol, coming out to these events, my daughter's exposed, some of her little friends are exposed.
Exactly.
I also noticed that more of the rappers are becoming balladeers.
Yes,
They're changing their voice. We
Yeah.
watched Patti LaBelle's Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
I have just, as recently as 2 weeks ago, said, I don't like Faith Evans. I mean, I don't dislike her. It's just that she hasn't done anything to drive me. But when she sang a tribute to Patti,
when she did that.
well, girl got a little voice.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
first, maybe it's material, maybe it's whatever.
A lot of the real singers I know,
She
and
really
I'm not,
has a voice, but they got her singing like a sample.
Yeah.
that's
And
what I
poor
was gonna
baby,
say.
she don't know it. She's just talented.
A lot of
So,
the
but she could be
artists-
directed to sing it.
Yes.
You know.
They need to realize it's not a bad thing to be a pace setter. If you go back to what your parent was listening to, like what you were saying, and then form from that, and then come into singing your own this or that, don't try to conform to like we did
Jill
with
Scott,
disco,
Erykah
like
Badu,
we
so you
worked
know it
on
works.
to with rap. Because after a while, even the different jobs were like, I'm not gonna play this.
Yeah.
And it become a gangster thing, you know? And I don't blame them, because is that really entertaining?
And D'Angelo and all these people, they don't go there to hear him. They can go there to see how much clothes they can take off and sing.
Yeah, right,
You know?
and is that entertainment? No, what kind of place should you be in if you're going to do that? No, you know what I'm saying? My papa would even say, no, look, my daughters sing. They don't have to disrobe themselves. They don't have to be all down and this all up, because their talent is what they have to say. We're still there. We've never left that. That's why a number of things. He said, anything you got to say, don't try to make a statement there. Make the statement from you singing it dramatically, as if they're looking at a movie performance. And the way you sing it can help them envision the whole picture. If they're not there, and he said from that alone, and then learn how to do it, which is hard, in the studio. Yeah. When there is no audience.
Yeah.
And what are you all doing tomorrow? What song are you performing?
I tried to slip
They
in
got
and show
us
me how.
going.
They wouldn't do
Don't
that.
ask my neighbors.
Okay.
Best of my love. And then we're just doing a portion of theirs. And it's really okay because they have a certain amount of time for each artist.
Right.
It's really understandable.
The brothers in the audience are going to be disappointed. I can tell you that
Are they gonna-
right now.
The producer and the
At the
executive
Magic
producer
Johnson
were
Center
like,
thing that they're doing, are they going to have a live band?
the VIP
I'm not sure yet.
reception.
I'm not sure what the entertainment's going to be, but you know they'll have some
That's
food
before
and
the
stuff.
awards?
That's before the awards.
Yeah, that starts at 5.
Mhm.
So actually tomorrow, I didn't know there were so many artists that are on this actual performance. I mean, the Pioneer Awards. I didn't know how many, because all the ones I saw today, and of course some are going to perform, some are not.
Well, then there's a number that
I
rehearsed
haven't seen
yesterday,
that.
so.
Live. But I was also there, and Al was, unless he showed up after I left. You know, there were a number that
No, Al comes in
that
at the
did.
last minute.
That's what they say.
Is that what he does?
Yes,
Comes in the last
that's
minute?
usually
He knows
his
his part.
format.
Yeah, I guess so.
So all I'm really saying is that I'm looking forward to how things are going to turn out. We want to give our all, because we're just glad that we're remembered. And any and all of you that have remembered the emotions for our loving input, and actually encouraging or inspiring you at any point, we want to continue to do so, because it's because of you that we're still alive. And we love you so much. Thank you for remembering us and grooving with us. And when we do come with our performance, we're going to expect you to know all the lyrics.
And check us out on our website, emotionsweb.com. That's DTHE emotionsweb.com.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I enjoyed this quite a bit. You fulfilled one of my longtime fantasies, and you know we're going to be playing your music up on our site as well. You know when we get your CD,
Yes.
and you know we'll turn as many people on to the music as possible.
Thank
Okay?
you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, and we will look forward.
You're listening to Soul Patrol Internet Radio. Soul Patrol Internet Radio.